Let's start the podcast. Off the Cliff Sports. You're listening to episode 30. Thank you. All my everyday Joes, everyday Janes out there. I'm your host, Cliff Jacks. Let's jump right into it. Roc Nation, company founded by rap mogul businessman Jay-Z, or some of us know him as Sean Carter, signed into an agreement with the NFL to handle the entertainment endeavors of the NFL. Of course, one of the reasons is because of all the trouble the NFL had last year in trying to get someone to perform at the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia. This deal comes with some sour grapes and all. You have one side that's, good business move. You have another side that's calling Jay-Z a sellout. Pretty much saying Jay-Z got in bed with the devil. This deal comes on the heels of Colin Kaepernick's situation being blackballed by the NFL. And there's a lot of people that still have a problem with it. I'm, on the other hand, one of those that say, hey, the NFL is a beast. The NFL isn't going anywhere. Protesting is great, and I have no problem with protesting. But at the end of the day, that NFL machine is not going to be stopped by the protest. It's not going to be stopped by Colin Kaepernick making his point. The best we could do in this situation is try to get as many jobs as we can in the NFL and use the money that it's providing to fight the issues we have at hand. Unless the NFL players, which are, I would say, 75-80% African American, unless they all decide, hey, we're not going to play football this week. We're not going to play football next week. We're not going to play football the week after that. That's what would hurt the NFL. Not because a couple of the players kneel with the anthem, not because we have some of the community protests. It's too big. Everyone wouldn't protest. The players are not going to stop playing because, unfortunately, in this world we live in, money is the root of all evil. I don't have a problem in Jay-Z signing this deal. Like he said, he's going to use this one as a stepping stone to try to go to the next level of change, because kneeling for a couple years is only going to get you so far. I do hate Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job, because he's probably better than 15, maybe 20 other quarterbacks in the league. He is. But unfortunately, the NFL is privately owned by the 30 owners. They blackballed him. Bottom line, they also did a settlement that they paid Kaepernick and paid Eric Reed, who is a big proponent of Jay-Z, although he's still playing football and got a contract. I mean, you can't play both sides, Eric Reed. You're still playing for those same people you're protesting for, and you're taking that money every week. Think about that. I mean, Kaepernick did have a couple chances for some jobs. We all don't know what really was in those opportunities. The only people that know are the people that gave him the opportunities and himself. I don't see where Jay-Z should be called a sellout, because he's in the game of making money. He is a billionaire, and those money he's making, he can definitely help communities. I know for a fact Jay-Z and his wife Beyonce helps communities all the time. They protest strongly. So for you to call him a sellout, to me that's ludicrous. I heard also this week that Jay-Z is definitely someone being looked at as a possible part owner of an NFL team, which of course, if you're part owner of a team, sooner or later you can become the owner of a team. It has to start somewhere. Why not with Sean Carter? We've seen that he's went from the streets, developed himself into what he is today, which is a mogul. No one can deny that. If you do, you're crazy. I think this issue will be talked about for another 2-3 weeks, but just like all protests and all issues, it's going to die down sooner or later. Think about it. Gucci was protest, but it's back. A lot of other things were protest and they're back. That's how things work in America today. I don't think we as a people are strong enough to do what our ancestors of the past did. It just doesn't happen the same way. This is NFL Preview Week, folks. We've got 3 divisions we're going to preview this week. We'll get into that when we come back on Off the Cliff Sports. Don't go anywhere. H to the O to the V. All right, back on Off the Cliff Sports. Cliff Jacks with you. Before we get into our preview week, I do want to say every man has to make the right decision for himself and his family first. Everything else is second. That's protesting or whatever. Jay-Z's making the move he thinks is best for himself, his family, and maybe his way of going about social reform is better than the people that just take a knee. Because at the end of the day, just taking a knee is not changing the atmosphere. Other than some people saying things like he should be fired or he should get kicked out the league, you're not really making a change. For Eric Reed to sit and take a paycheck after he was on the side of Colin Kaepernick and he was protesting, but once he got a chance to get back in the league, he jumped forward. He also was part of the settlement that was given as well. Just a little FYI. I'm a Hope fan, so that could definitely be a issue why I do ride with Jay-Z, but at the end of the day, if he's taking that money and he's flipping that money into the communities, what are people going to say then? We're going to look back at this in about a year and see how things have transpired. But, of course, the NFL wanted to get someone that wasn't like them. I mean, wouldn't you, to try to get heat off yourself? But I think at the end of the day, all 30 of those owners know that's small. This is small business to them. They're thinking more about TV deals, sponsor ads with beer companies, and things of that nature. All right, folks, we're going to get into preview week. This week, we're going to preview AFC West, NFC South, and the NFC West. We got A-Train coming on board with us. Don't go anywhere. All right, back on Off the Cliff Sports episode 30 with you guys. So we're going to continue to dig into our NFL preview. Got A-Train in the building with us. I don't know if I ever told y'all A-Train is a gym rat. He goes to the gym 5 to 7 days a week, pumping that major iron. Something that I'm not going to do, but he does it.
Correction, I'm actually a certified strength and conditioning coach. And I just love lifting weights and I'm getting back in shape. So.
Okay, y'all heard it from him. He's a strength and conditioning coach. I mean, he does give me some advice and I do use some of it, but I'm not going to pay him for his services right now. Once Off the Cliff Sports jumps up into the higher tier of podcasts, then me and him can negotiate a few things. We're going to start out today, A-Train, with the AFC West. Or do you have any comments? Last week you started off by dissing me because I said the Cowboys were trash. Anything before we jump into the AFC West?
Don't get your hopes too high about these Broncos. That's the only thing I got to say. Other than that, man, let's jump into it,
All right, so last year, rewind a little bit, guys, the Chiefs got cheated out of getting to the Super Bowl because, in my opinion, their market wasn't big enough. There wasn't going to be enough dollars coming from Kansas City and Kansas City, Missouri, compared to the hated Patriots. That's just my opinion, but we all know the Chiefs bringing back a powerhouse on offense, and they shuffled some things on defense. What do you think about the West or the Chiefs in general and their defense?
Oh man, the Chiefs they're going to pick up where they left off, so they're not going to lose anything. If anything, they're going to get better on defense. I think the issue was in that game, the little defensive mistakes, because it was a good game, but they were making fundamental mistakes like jumping off sides. If you're on the defensive line, every coach in the world will tell you your job is to key the ball. You look at the ball the whole time. Nothing else matters. You see the ball move, you move. If not, you don't move. So they were making little mistakes like that, but I mean they're gonna definitely win this division.
Right now, the West is pretty much divided. My Broncos are in the bottom tier with the Raiders, and then you have the Chiefs and the Chargers, who a lot of us are kind of sleeping on at the top of that division. I do think if they can go ahead and get Gordon signed, I think the Chargers are dangerous because their defense got two bookends that are top notch.
I have to agree with you on that, man. The Chargers they're pretty good. They handled this Melvin Gordon situation. Man, I don't know, man. They can give the Chiefs a run for their money, but we'll see. But they're not a distant second like most people think.
Yeah, so the West is different. You got Gruden over there on Hard Knocks making a travesty, in my opinion, out of the Raiders. Although he got a lot of picks. I like two of the first round picks, Jacobs, and I like the DB from Mississippi State. I just don't think Furrow should have been the top defensive end to come off the board. I don't think he's made it to that level yet. So, we know Gruden knows football, but the way he goes about it.
Last night, I don't know if y'all saw the preseason game. But
no, it wasn't last night though. That preseason game, sorry.
It was the Cardinals and the Raiders.
Okay.
And so
the game from Thursday night.
Thursday night. Yeah, that was on Thursday night. My bad. It was on Thursday night. So Cardinals and the Raiders, man. Farrell had, I think it was 3 back-to-back illegal hands to the face call. Now, you a first round draft pick. You got to get that in order, bro. It's no way you get 3 back-to-back.
Hey, it's different rules, and plus the men he's lining up across now, they men.
They are men. Boys. They're men, but basics of using your hands as a defensive end. I understand getting some hands to the face calls and all that, but some of the plays that were happening when he was getting those calls, if you're familiar with the defensive line, you should have known his hands shouldn't have been that high. He was playing contain on one of the plays, was supposed to be, and the other play was a run play. So it wasn't like it was like 3 straight pass rushes where he's using his hands. So he needs to fix that. Other than that, he was great. He made some big plays. So Gruden made some good picks, and you know how I feel about Jacobs, man. I love that guy. So
I don't think Gruden likes his quarterback. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think Carr's his guy, and I think Carr's last season for the Raiders will be this.
He don't like him, but he knows what he can do, so he respects him. I don't care how you feel about him. He knows what Carr can do.
Now, as we get to my Denver Broncos, who won Super Bowl 50 over Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers, I have been on record saying I do not like my coach. He's too old school. I don't mind old school because I'm old school, but no music in training camp. You can't do this. You're talking about your quarterback you drafted in the media, things I think should be kept behind closed doors. You shouldn't just go out publicly telling folks, oh, he got a long way to go. You're pretty much telling that man to his face he doesn't have a chance. I have an issue with our coaching right now, so that hurts as a Bronco fan. I wish us the best, but right now I'm looking at 7 to 9 wins for my Broncos. You kind of disagree with that.
I disagree. I see 7. You can get 7, but no more than that. All the things you said, plus the schedule, man. And I know you guys are looking at it like, oh, we got the Browns. The Browns are for real this year.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll talk about
the Browns
next
are
week.
for real.
We'll talk
so
about
look,
next week.
Y'all got I think it's number 3. the third or fifth toughest schedule in NFL this year. So it's gonna be tough for y'all. And plus, on top of the fact, man, you can't tell me as a grown man, if I'm a player, I can't have music before practice, bro. I'm a professional. I'm gonna play my music, and we're gonna disagree with each other and just trade beats.
It's at practice though.
If we're professionals, whatever. This is my philosophy. If I was a coach or a GM, whatever's inside the rules, I understand structure. So you're gonna have your program that's gonna run your way, your philosophy, but I'm also going to allow my guys to be professionals and do what they need to do to prepare themselves to perform at the highest level, mentally and physically, if it's legal. Ain't nothing wrong with no music, man. Let these men listen to music. It's going to play in the game. It's going to play on game day. So what you going to do then?
Well, he had the audacity to say they don't have music during games, so I was trying to figure out.
Fool.
He must sit in the booth, and it's very quiet and silent in his booth, possibly. Maybe. But that's neither here nor there. So, Anthony, let's go with the AFC West. I am going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Chiefs on top. Then I'm going to say Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. Is that how you have it panning out?
I have Chiefs on top, Chargers second. And honestly, to me, I'm going to say it's up in the air between the Broncos and Raiders. The reason I say that is because y'all got some tough schedules. And I don't know. Gruden made some good picks, so these kids might do something. So just because of the strength of schedule and just the uncertainty of what's going on with the Raiders, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna say it's a toss-up between those two.
I'm gonna say my Broncos are a dark horse because I have faith in John Elway, and I think we can do it. I just hate my coach. That's sad. Guys, we're gonna come back on Off the Cliff Sports, and we're gonna get into the NFC South. Ooh, another scary division. We'll be back on Off the Cliff Sports. Don't go anywhere. All right, back on Off the Cliff Sports with you guys. Got A-Train sitting in with us to go over our NFL preview. We're up to the NFC South this segment. We got the Atlanta Falcons, Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just a little backwards rewind. Cam was hurt all last year. The Saints got screwed out of a Super Bowl. And on an old episode, I did a conspiracy theory because I do think New Orleans has a great fan base, but New Orleans is so small compared to the Los Angeles Rams. I think ratings and money had something to play with them getting screwed out of going to the Super Bowl. Can they get redemption this year is the question. A-Train, I'll let you start it off in this segment. What you think's happening over here in the South?
My wife is probably one of the biggest Saints fans ever in history. And I like them too, but I'm a Cowboys fan. But anyway, so the Saints, man, they're gonna pick up where they left off, man.
Ruined my whole segment.
Hey, the Saints they're dominant, bro. They're dominant. They pissed off. They ready to pick up where they left off, man.
Now, the only thing I would disagree with what you just said, after they played the Dallas team last year, after they got whipped for 4 quarters against that Dallas team, they wasn't the same.
Well, see, look,
that Saints team
they were.
Was transformed.
I'm going to tell you what happened with that. See, and this happens, it's always flip-flop with the Saints and Dallas Cowboys. Whenever the Saints are doing well, we're able to come into either their house or at our house, and we figure them out. And I want to say it's because of Sean Payton used to be with Dallas, man. So we know a lot about Sean Payton and how he thinks and how he runs his show. So we're able to figure this out. Once we figure it out, everybody else got film at that point. So then they start figuring it out themselves. So if you ever notice, when the Saints have a successful season, their hiccup is Dallas. That's one of their major hiccups. It's always Dallas because we figure it out.
But that hiccup lasted the whole last quarter because they were struggling with Tampa Bay. They struggled in all the games after that. They didn't have any game after Dallas game where they put up more than 28 points, I think it was.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that struggling though. I wouldn't say that they're struggling.
Oh, it was terrible. The offense was terrible.
The offense, they were just figured out, bro. They weren't terrible. They were figured out. And didn't they have a few injuries too?
A couple,
I think we had a few injuries there, but you know what I'm saying. Everybody started figuring it out. The defense still played well. That's why they were winning those games after that.
Agreed.
You know.
What about the Tampa Bay Bucks? We got a great coach.
Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry. Let's get back to these Saints. One more thing, man.
Okay.
Shout out to my boy Craig Robinson out there with the Saints. UNT guy, you know.
Craig getting old too.
Hey, bro, look, hey man, I got much respect for that guy. This dude, undrafted free agent, got cut, came back to the Browns, made a hell of a career for himself, man. Great guy.
Congratulations, Craig. We'll see what you and your Saints do this upcoming season. But I gotta go ahead and get back to, as I was saying, those Tampa Bay Buccaneers got probably one of the best coaches, in my opinion, in the NFL because he's a cool guy. He's a player coach, but he knows how to get the job done. Will their new coach be able to help Jameis Winston become a star quarterback?
No.
Wow.
He's not gonna help him become a star quarterback.
They got Mike Evans, a stud receiver.
Hey, but the mentality plays a lot into it. So he's not going to change. I don't think he's going to change his mentality. Like, he is who he is as a person. He's not a bad person, but he's childish in a lot of ways.
Maybe he's growing up.
And exactly, that's something that he's going to have to figure out for himself. I think if he can break through that childish phase, but it's going to be hard for him because, you know, he's always had success starting at a young age, and everything he's done, he's been young while he's been getting all this success. So
I
this
do not
mentality has
like.
gotten this far.
I'm gonna say I do not like the fact that they let McCoy go, and they also let Quan Alexander go, who I think is one of the best inside linebackers in the NFL. So I think defense might struggle a little bit, but I think their offense could do some things.
Yeah,
just like the Atlanta Falcons offense, who have been playing terrible lately.
Yeah, they have. But I mean, the Bucks are gonna be still dead last. So, and the Falcons at least got third place going for them.
Wow.
At least. The reason I say that is because how do you let go of two good defensive players in the Bucks and you struggling on offense? Like, your defense was saving your season, bro. Like, no, they're gonna have to adjust this season and try to get back on track and all that. So they're gonna be dead last. They might beat the Saints starting out like they always do. One game, get hyped
So
up.
you got the Bucks as trash. Now, a question for you: the Atlanta Falcons, should Dan Quinn's job be on the line this year? I thought he should have been fired last year.
Yeah, it better be on the line. But it better be on the line. It better be.
When they hired him, everybody thought he was going to bring this powerhouse defense over that he had in Seattle, but he hasn't done it. And I do think he cost them the Super Bowl with bad play calling and hiring Sarkisian as a coordinator, which I think he's trash. To me, he was trash in college. He's trash in the NFL, and I think he's cost them 2 seasons of productivity.
This is true.
So, Carolina, we got Cam coming off a major surgery on his shoulder. They have one of the best little small backs, not one of the best overall, but McCaffrey is a solid small back.
I like McCaffrey, man. He's a good guy.
What do you see coming out of Carolina?
I mean, I see Cam still wearing crazy clothes. But I think McCaffrey is going to explode this year, man.
Cam has a vibrant style.
Cam, bro. I appreciate your love for fashion. Tone it down sometimes. Maybe I'm just being a hater. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think McCaffrey, he could have he's already been a great player, but he can really have a breakout season. I mean, the guy can catch out of the backfield. Like, he looks like I guess you can say a poor man's version of Kamara, because he can do a lot. The only thing he cannot do. No. Now, the reason I say poor man's version, because he ain't out there running over nobody.
Who say he not better than Kamara?
He not, because he can't run between the tackles. He definitely not better than him.
Well, I don't know.
Kamara, he can do it.
We can argue over this. I think McCaffrey is just as good, if not better.
If he can run through the tackles like him, and then I would say yes. Can he catch better than him? He's one of the best catching running backs out there. Like, his hands are great, but he can't run through the tackles like that.
All right, what you got for the rankings for this division?
The Saints gonna take it. They're gonna take it. They're gonna lose to Dallas, but they're gonna They're gonna take that division. Now between the Panthers and Falcons, I do think the Panthers will come in second.
Whoa.
The reason I say that is I think Cam is gonna come back. He's gonna be ready to go. And the Panthers defense is always pretty legit. So I don't think that's going to change. So I think that's going to give them a little boost.
All right, so you got Saints, Carolina, Atlanta, Tampa.
I got Saints, Carolina,
Atlanta,
Tampa. Trash. Sorry, Mo. I know he a Bucks fan. I got trash for last.
So he called the Bucks trash. Whoa.
Man, they are. They could be so. I mean, the reason I say that because they can be so much better, man. Like they piss me off at how trash they are when they don't have to be that way. They can't get it together.
I'm thinking the Saints might compete for the Super Bowl, but we'll do predictions later on. Well, this is not a prediction show. This is just a preview show. I'm thinking the Saints might be going back to at least the NFC title game. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, they're going to see Dallas in the NFC title game, but we'll see what happens when we all get there, right?
All right, folks. We got one more division to cover on Off the Cliff Sports. We got the NFC West, and we'll get to them when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Off the Cliff Sports with your host, Cliff Jacks. Before A-Train and myself get into the NFC West, we're going to go ahead and get into the best segment of the show, Top of the Cliff. First things first, I want to let you listen to a little footage, courtesy of Headline News, and then we'll discuss who I'm inviting to the Top of the Cliff. Take a listen, folks.
Oh my word, this story. A college quarterback is back with his team after the cocaine he was arrested for was indeed bird poop. Yeah, new dash cam video shows the deputies looking over Shiwart's car after he was pulled over, accused of speeding. This was 2 weeks ago. So the white stuff on the hood of his car tested positive for cocaine at first.
You can see it on the windshield.
That's not bird poop.
I swear to God, that's bird duty.
That's not bird poop.
I swear
That's
to
a
God.
lot of bird. That's a lot of shit, man.
I tried to clean it last night at the gas station. You can.
I can still wipe it off.
Later, lab testing showed it was indeed bird droppings. Obviously, he was cleared of the charges. The school's athletic director says he's very proud of how Wirt handled himself in this video.
All right, folks. That video was courtesy again of Headline News. It looks like the police, who are supposed to protect and serve, sometimes get things twisted. It seems like they're more in tune to arrest, discipline, and figure it out later than the protecting and serve part. So you pull a person over for speeding. I get that. I've had numerous speeding tickets. But you see a white substance on the hood of his car and you go to cocaine. First of all, I don't do cocaine. I've never done cocaine. But if I have cocaine, I'm going to either look to use it or sell it. I'm not really trying to have it on the hood of my car because it doesn't sound like that's profitable, if you ask me. But because our police now, they are privileged and they feel that they can take justice into their own hands, this is what we get. And I'm not going to use the fake test as an excuse for the police officers in this case that I definitely want to invite to the top of the cliff. I want them to come join me at the top of the cliff. Reason being, common sense. I was reading some other articles where it says that there have been a number of substances like chocolate chip cookies that have came back positive with these tests and these field tests. I can't fault officers for that part of it, but common sense and realizing, oh, he threw cocaine on his window doesn't make sense. He might should have tasted the coat, tasted the bird poop, or even sniffed it, and he might would have realized, okay, this isn't cocaine. All the officers involved in this stop of this young man, which luckily it didn't turn out any worse than it did, I would like to invite them to the top of the cliff. I can't tell them what to do once they get at the top of the cliff, but please join me on the top of the cliff. Some things in America nowadays is just ridiculous. This kid could have lost his scholarships. He could have lost his college degree. He could have went into a tailspin that there was no reason to ever happen. But we got to fix the real problems. And people want to call Jay-Z a sellout. Let's work on our everyday issues first. Please join me on the top of the cliff, officers. When we come back on Off the Cliff Sports, we're going to go ahead and get our last preview of the weekend. Stay with us, folks. Don't go anywhere. Back on Off the Cliff Sports here, we got the NFC West, and A-Train and myself are going to talk about that a little bit here real quick for you. The West used to be one of those scary divisions where it's like, man, it's tough. But now it's kind of shaking out a little bit.
Yeah.
Something I heard on a news report, which I want to get your opinion on. Rex Ryan, old coach, now analyst, he said the Cards' offense is boring, it's trash, and that he wants it to get put out of the NFL quickly. I don't like the disrespect for the college game, one, and the college offense. It's time for the NFL to evolve and not continue to be the old, same, predictable league. What do you think about that?
Man, everybody thought that about the wishbone when it was popular, and then we started, passing the ball. Then everybody thought that we passed too much. It's evolving. That's what's happening. And Rex Ryan he's old school, hard nosed. So to him,
and that's why he ain't got no job.
Right, exactly. To him, anything that's passing or fast paced is gimmicky. That's how he's going to look at it. But like you said, he's analyzing now. He ain't got no job, so he doing what we doing. He getting paid for it. But
which we should be getting paid.
Right,
right. Sports is always trending upward. We're looking for the future.
And right, Rex, if you want to say something, come over here too, brother.
It's funny, though, because some people, if you actually look at it, the Kansas City Chiefs offense is, I guess you would call gimmicky, because they have a lot of receivers. They have a lot of receivers running this back in the backfield, just like Canadian football. They run that big old wide loop.
If you look at a lot of the successful teams are that way. Like, honestly,
you got to change.
And Baltimore starting to go that way, as we saw last season. They really started going that way. They're going away from what they used to be.
Straight a runner. They got to give him a chance to pass.
They really do. They do.
We'll talk about Baltimore next week too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know what, Rex, man, he gonna say stuff, and that's just who he is.
What you got in the West though for me? What do you think is gonna be some keys for the West that you got over there written down on your notes?
Now, I got the Rams taking the division, but I do have to take into consideration the Seahawks have the 8th easiest schedule in the league right now.
They're not the same team, though.
They aren't. They aren't the same team. I give you that.
They do not fear the Seahawks at all.
They do not fear them. But with the easy schedule like that,
those
barring injury,
those
I know
schedule numbers are overrated too.
You can say that.
It's based on last year's records.
They have some long stretches at home, so that works in their favor. But I do have the Rams, Seahawks close second. The Cardinals, the only thing I can say about them is, can they do it? Can they? And they have a tougher schedule than the Seahawks. But can they edge out the Seahawks to maybe come in the second?
Kyler Murray.
And possibly have an opportunity to play, a wild card game.
What you think about San Francisco?
San Francisco, I just don't think they're gonna do it. I think they're gonna start out hot. Last season, what happened? What's the boy's name that got in?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Do
you think
he was hot for 4 games?
Do you think he's the guy?
He can be. He's young though, man. I hate, when people put super young quarterbacks and they say,
though, like 6 years now. He's not young anymore.
Okay.
He just ain't had time to play.
Right. So I guess that's what I'm saying. He's inexperienced as far as a 6-year quarterback would go. So I don't know. So that's why I'm saying it's up in the air, because you got this first year kid in Arizona, which nobody's really seen him at this level. So there can be some kinks for some defenses out there for him, and then the 49ers. But I think the Cardinals, they could end up third.
They got a
and they
boring
can
offense
possibly
though, based on Rex Ryan, so they should be trash.
Rex is mad, because if Rex put his old school defense against that, they gonna gas him out every time. He couldn't. They come on, dude. He just thinking super old school.
So you got the Rams. I have the Rams winning that division, and I don't have the other 4 teams sniffing the playoffs.
They may not sniff it at all. Honestly, I agree with that. But I really think the Cardinals could possibly come in second. It just depends. Now, like I said, Seahawks ain't the same Seahawks. That's why I said that. But they have a super easy schedule. So.
I think people are over-exaggerating Todd Gurley's injury. I don't think it is as bad as it is. I think it's just one of those things you got to treat every week. But I think Gurley is going to still be – he may not put up the points he did last year, fantasy-wise, but he's still going to be a stud.
But even if it is as bad as people saying, the Rams – Todd Gurley isn't the Rams. The Rams, they are solid everywhere. Like, they're a football team. They solid everywhere. Offense, defense, special teams. So they might not put up those numbers.
Cornerback.
Yeah, man, dude. Like,
that corner.
Man, say they might score so many points on defense this year. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're so solid, bro. I wouldn't even worry about that Gurley situation.
I do have the Rams. I'm not going to do a prediction now, but I think the Rams probably are going to play the Saints to go to the Super Bowl again. Just my opinion, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Cliff Jacks knows a lot, so I'm just throwing that out there early.
Those Cowboys, New Orleans Saints,
So you got the Rams
and
the rest of the division.
So
right?
when the Saints and the Cowboys, they have this divisional game, we need to do an on-site show, because it's going to happen. We need to do an on-site show once they go to the NFC Championship.
We'll talk about who's going to the championship and all later, and we know it won't be the Cowboys, but hey, that's neither here nor there. Zeke is not in training camp. Guys, that's our 3 divisions for this week. Next week, we got 2 divisions left, the NFC East, and then we also have the AFC South with the upstart Cleveland Browns. We'll dig into those 2 divisions next week, folks. So that's our NFL talk this week. Don't go anywhere. Off the Cliff Sports will be back in a minute. A-Train, anything going out before we go to the commercial?
How about them Cowboys? See y'all next week.
It's been a great episode of Off the Cliff Sports, guys. Cliff Jack's back with you. Let's get into our Cliff Notes this week. We're going to start out, of course, NFL, as always. Dak Prescott has asked the Cowboys for $40 million a year instead of the $30 that they offered him. Contract negotiations ongoing. Ezekiel Elliott is still not in camp, holdout. Washington Redskins offensive lineman Trent Williams is a holdout as well. Both of those players want their teams to ante up, big ante up, or trade them. Melvin Gordon, Los Angeles Chargers running back, is still a holdout as well. We're getting into the time. We have about 2.5 weeks left before we start getting into the regular season. So we're going to see a lot of antsiness coming up on player sides, ownership sides. It's going to get interesting. I can report the Jets lost one of their starting linebackers, Avery Williamson. He was playing for Tennessee at one point, but they lost him to an ACL tear. The Ravens lost their defensive back that they just signed to a big extension. That sucks. And he's out with the neck injury. Got a lot of injuries going on. This is the time where players are competing hard, the rookies and the first, second year players, and then you got the vets that are trying to do enough to get in shape, but not overdo it, unfortunately, like these two gentlemen who have gotten injured. Some good news for the defending champs. Josh Gordon was reinstated by the NFL, and he'll be able to play for the Patriots immediately. So Tom Brady has another weapon at his disposal. Move over to golf. We got the BMW Championships going on, and it does look like Tiger Woods will be playing today. Once you listen to this episode, he'll be part of the weekend group. That's a plus. Unfortunately, last I checked, he was 7, 8 strokes down. So maybe he can have some Saturday magic and make Sunday interesting. Little League World Series started up this week. I remember we never would know about the Little League World Series until Saturday when the championship game came on. We didn't know anything about the rest of it, but now Little League World Series is big business, and we see the smaller tournaments leading up to the Little League World Series, and you pretty much see all the Little League World Series games themselves. Money makes people do things, even exploit children. The world we live in. Also, news for you. The home run ball is still going out at an unbelievable clip. Every day we're just pretty much seeing how many home runs was hit, how long the home runs were. The other night, the Cleveland Indians hit 7 home runs against the New York Yankees. 7. That's crazy. Oh, yeah, that was one game, by the way. Some NBA news for you also during Cliff Notes. The Lakers have taken a hit before the season even started. DeMarcus Cousins went down with an ACL injury while he was practicing in Las Vegas. He just signed with the Lakers for roughly $3.5 million, and he's not going to get to take the court. So the Lakers are down one player in the Battle of LA. More to be determined as the NBA season approaches. But right now, that's a tough one. DeMarcus has worked his way back. He's worked his way into shape. Some people say the Lakers they'll be good without him or with him. I don't know, because if he's gotten into shape and he's like the old DeMarcus, he could be a dominating force for the Lakers. People always say move LeBron to the 4, AD to the 5. The thing is, LeBron doesn't like playing the 4. AD doesn't like playing the 5. But Laker fans are going to say it doesn't matter. Another Cliff Notes for you. A lot of the big-name NBA players are withdrawing from Team USA to worry about their NBA team, the team that's actually paying them a salary. And some people are saying Team USA may not be able to dominate. I say, who really cares? I don't think anyone cares as much about international competitions as we did in the past, especially in basketball, in baseball, in hockey. It's not the same. Now, gymnastics, they compete strongly. Track and field, strongly. But sports like basketball, it's not a big deal. Even the ladies, the U.S. women dominate every year. It's pretty much a waste of time. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with us sending our college athletes over because they can compete. They may not win every year because they're college athletes and the other people have their pro athletes there, but I think it's a fair fight. Daniel Morey, owner of the Houston Rockets, stated that it's factual that James Harden is a better scorer than Michael Jordan. Also, in other news, the owner of the the owner of the Brooklyn Nets, the Russian billionaire, sold his 51% share of the team to another billionaire. That's all I can tell you. I can't pronounce their names, so I'm not going to try to pronounce their names. But the deal looks like it's about $3.5 billion. The rich stay richer. We're going to come back and we're going to get to top of the cliff. I didn't go over the standings, Major League standings. We definitely hit them next week, but I can definitely tell you the Dodgers and the Yankees are still on top of their respective divisions. And the Astros made some deals last week and the week before, which probably are going to put the Astros and the Dodgers in the World Series. Quote of the day when we come back on Off the Cliff Sports. Don't go anywhere. I want to thank all my Everyday Joes and Everyday Janes out there for listening in to Off the Cliff Sports. Let's get into our quote of the day. Today's quote is going to come from the person I think is the best center to ever play NBA basketball. He goes by the name of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Some people might know him as Lou Alcindor. The quote from Kareem is, "One man can be a crucial ingredient on a team, but one man cannot make a team." Again, that quote, "One man can be a crucial ingredient on a team, but one man cannot make a team." That's from the great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's been a pleasure sharing my thoughts and ideas and opinions with you guys. Next week, we're going to preview the AFC North and the NFC East. You guys know what teams are in there. The teams that a lot of people are talking about, those Cowboys, the Eagles, the Cleveland Browns, which has a lot of hype right now, Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to go over those divisions next week. I appreciate you guys, and I thank you. I thank you. Until next week, Off the Cliff Sports, your host, Cliff Jacks. Peace.